Hello. Hopefully this works. Had some issues this morning getting stuff started, but we're here. It is November 5th, 2025, and we're going to do a speed run today, or at least that's what I'm going to call it. We're just going to try to get some fun stuff working on a TPU, and that's going to be fun. So hopefully if you guys are in the chat, I see Stormtrooper, I see Chanan. If you Chandan, if you guys can hear me okay, just give me a thumbs up. That way I'll know I'm not speaking into the void. Rob, Teslim said, hello, how are you? Good morning. You guys ready for some fun speed run? I did a little bit of prep work this time. So we should be in a better place than we were last week. But if you guys remember, or if you were here last week, we were trying to get a TPU set up and we're running into some issues. But I think I've resolved all those issues. So let's go ahead and try it out, shall we? I'm going to check out my G Cloud and actually see, oops, it's giving me an error. So I'm going to do G Cloud and see my version of G Cloud just to make sure that this is the latest. Yeah, it's recent enough. And I want to see if I can list what instances I have, because I just spun up a Trillium TPU on Google Cloud. I should be able to connect to it here. So why don't I also, let's do this. Let's look here into the docs of what we're trying to run. We're going to be trying to run vLLM, which means we're trying to host an open source large language model on a TPU. Should be pretty fast since TPUs are kind of meant for this thing. And this new library has been optimized for running on TPUs. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So let's look and see what we got here. Make sure I'm streaming on all channels. Let me know if I should stop here. You have any questions? But I'm just going to go on and see how far we can get. So I want to look at these recipes. Because this Llama 3.1 recipe is the one I'm going to try to do. But here, I'm going to copy this. Control C. Oh, of course it's not going to let me paste. Will it? I'm like I've been using my Mac so much, I'm not used to my Linux keyboard commands. And I think my keyboard settings used to be a little bit different. So like the control command switch that I usually do, at least my caps lock is set to control. Does anyone else out there map keys to something different? Like, who needs caps lock? Caps lock is like the best placed key to just change for something else. I know a lot of people change it out for escape, but for some reason I like having it as control. But that means like when I'm in a terminal and I'm on a computer that isn't mine and I'm trying to like stop the command that's running doing Control C, it will not work if that's a caps lock. All right, so I sent you guys, or I put this in the chat, the link to this. One other thing I want to do, which we didn't do last time, is actually see if I could get Gemini CLI, because I think that's gonna help make this a lot easier. At least when we run into issues. So Cal Crazy sticks to default as much as possible. I can respect that. So how do we install? Gemini CLI. Ubuntu. All right, hopefully it doesn't like require us to restart, because then I'm in trouble. I do not have like the smart setup where I'm streaming from a different computer than I'm actually doing the work on. I'm just straight up doing everything. Maybe I shouldn't run update. Oh, my copy is like, let's see if this works. Let's make sure I have this installed, node, etc. I have broken packages. It's Node is already the newest version, so we're good on that. Then I think I just install with this. Shift. And we're gonna install here. Is it already installed? NPM. Let's see what's going on here. This is my thumbnail I made for this. And then let's paste this here. Let's see what I can do over here. That's right. My copy here doesn't work, so I need to do it this way. There we go. Gemini CLI is going to be really helpful, so we really want to get this up and running. I'm in dependency hell, it says. It says to purge them, auto remove them. All right, so let's try this. Oh, I forgot about this. So, sudo apt purge node.js and npm. If this causes my computer to shut down or for the stream to end, it was nice knowing you all. All right, sudo apt auto remove. Should ask me yes. It's gonna delete all these old drivers. Deleting old NVIDIA drivers while I'm streaming is risky. And then install Node.js, the latest version. And then we're going to install, oops. I think this is okay. Just because everything on this computer is old. All right, we're getting there. All right, so Node, we have that installed, and NPM is also installed. Looking good. Looking better, at least. Now let's try to install it using NPM. Ooh, that's pretty. I like the progress bar. All right, it's installed. I probably have to restart a new session to make sure it's in my... Oh, it's not installed? Maybe just make sure. Okay, so now it's saying to install with Snap. Which might have made everything we just did moot. Okay, this is not the Gemini 1 install. This is from Kyle? Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. If I do Gemini now, it's probably something totally different. Yeah, this is an unofficial. Let's control X out of that. Sudo snap uninstall. Sudo snap remove. Okay. So I think what's happening is we just don't have the bin directory. So while that's removing, let's look at where Node is installed. That's an older version of Node, but if I go to home, my folder, releases, CLI. Oh, versions. Node. There we have 2012.2. But if I do get prefix, it's using 10. Ooh, it could be something with my Anaconda installation. Of course. Rob, so you're going to host an open source LLM on cloud, but isn't nowadays cloud services provided open source models hosted by themselves? For example, Databricks provide various open source models. Yeah, there are solutions for doing that, but if you want to run it yourself on a TPU, it's important. Also, if you're trying to do some stuff like reinforcement learning, which I think we'll get to here in a few weeks, then you may want to host like a custom model that you've fine-tuned. So it's a little bit more like we're not doing this just to match what's already out there as much as for the potential of doing things like reinforcement learning. Let's do this. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so now we made our default this. And now we should see which Gemini it's using. It's not looking at any. Let's just restart this session to make sure. Okay, so we need to export our path. Let's see if we export our path to include this bin directory. Then we should see Gemini. Nope. Let's check this. Oh, it's still using the old version. Let's make it use 20. All right, now it's using the right one. Let's export our path. To have this. And our existing path. Let's just go in here. Is there no... Okay, so now I think we need to install Gemini this way. I didn't expect this part to take so long. Oh, it says install it with npx. Is this gonna work? Okay, while this is going on, what I'm going to do is go to our projects directory. We're going to go into the TPU setup directory. And then I'm going to get access to... Ooh, look, it's working up here. I'm going to have to authorize Gemini up top. Zoom out a little bit. There, that's a little bit easier. Authorize that, and then I'm below gonna see if I can get logged in to my TPU. G-Cloud. All right, so let's at the top say trying to access a TPU instance I have running on Google Cloud. Can you give me the G-Cloud commands to access, to first check. And I'm going to say, just give commands. There we go. Hey, we have some more people. Video study strum. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so G-Cloud Compute VM list, my project ID, and my zone. Okay, let's go into here. The one thing I had to do to get this working this morning was to pick a zone that wasn't very backed up, I guess. I was getting errors because I was trying to use the Eastern zone, but I ended up using one in Europe, and that ended up working. So if I go into my G-Cloud console, and then I remember which zone I'm in and my project name, and down here below, I'm going to make a script called check TPU instance, and we're going to put this command here basically into here. And why don't we make these global variables that I'll put in here? So my project ID is going to be ooh, the other thing is I should run this in the right directory. So I should get this into my repos. Streaming projects 79. Run Gemini here, or whatever this command, this npx command was. And here's going to be my zone. Do I need to export this? All right, so my project name is this. Project ID is this. So then we're going to connect to, or we're going to check on that project ID. Then we are also going to select our zone, which if I go to my project VMs, I'll drag this over here for a second. Here I can see my TPUs. I have this Twitch TPU. It's in Europe West 4A. So let's go ahead and copy that. And of course I use the wrong different commands. We're gonna do the zone up here, just in case this changes. And then we're gonna run this against the zone. Got it? Everyone feel good about that? I feel good. Hopefully you guys can read that text, not too small. We will run this check instance, and I spelled G-Cloud wrong. So let's leave this open. Let's delete that U, and then here, check the instance. I know I'm kind of covering that up with the right side, so why don't I just make like a little thing here on the right that I won't use. There we go. Okay, so when I ran this, actually checking the instance, it's ready to go. Perfect. TPU VM, I want to connect. So I'm gonna, no, so I'm gonna say, here's the info. I ran, let's also say, I ran the script, check TPU instance. All right, so now it's gonna give it like the script that we ran, the result. I guess it could run that script and know it. Give me a GPU/TPU. Well, you can sign up for Google Cloud and get free access. Oh wait, not free access. Sorry, you could get I think they give for students some free credits and new people free credits. So yeah, you can use it for free, at least to start. So it was trying to run this script, but I want my script. So this is this SSH command. I want to make a script that does this. So why don't we over here, since this is our check script, which we know works. Let's move this request TPU to old. And then let's copy this check script to an SSH script, and we'll edit that to do this command that they say to do. So G-Cloud compute TPUs, TPU VM. So instead of listing the TPUs, we're going to SSH into it. And we need the TPU name, which I named it Rob Twitch TPU. There we go. All right, so now over here we need to SSH. Let's try to see if this works. Okay, so I need to set my compute/zone. Why don't I just have this script do that? And then that can just be this zone that we set up here, right? S/switch/twitch was that? Did I misspell something? Wait, why is it still giving me issues? Okay, so let's just try running here. gcloud config set. Oh, maybe I just need it zone equals Europe West 4A. All right, now we're gonna go here. Ah! I want to delete all that stuff. All right. Get back. Get back. All right, so trying to run and get this error. Nope. Copy this. I wrote Rob Twitch TPU, which isn't Rob Twitch. Oh, so I spelled it wrong? Yes. Yes. Thank you. See, you would have helped me. Saying it's not formatted correctly, but that's fine. Here. Ah. What happened to my... Back into this session. So this wants to fix this. Okay, I'll let it fix that stuff. But then you're also right. I'm going to quit out of this Vim. Get back in there. Not going to let it execute it. Oh, so it changed my spelling. All right. Let's see if we can get in. Ooh, this looks good. This is promising. Thanks, Stormtrooper, for being my partner in crime here. There's no warranty. Oh, shoot. We're in, folks. We're in. This is a good sign. Maybe I'll just make a whole new tab here in Tmux where we can... $79. Let's go ahead and commit to this Git repo, which I haven't committed to in forever. Ooh, actually... No, this is fine. All right, so I want to... There's nothing secretive in here, right? No, it's fine. So I'm going to add this. The check to scripts to get into VM, TPU VM. We're going to push this. All right, so that's in that repo. If you guys want to see it, it has all my Twitch streaming project. But let's go ahead and SSH into this instance. Nice clean screen here. Now we're in it. So, who am I? Same username. Now if I think if I do TPU info, it's not installed. Okay, so... And also Gemini is not going to be installed. Okay. Pull this over here. So let's see if we have NPX on here. NPX not found. About NVM. Well, okay, so I'm going to make two tabs here. The second one will SSH in a second time. And then we're going to, I guess this, oh, I need to edit my bash RC to have LC G equals LS G flash color. Without that, I'm going to be in trouble because I type LC too much. Maybe I wrote this wrong. Oh yeah, 1- for G flash, single dash, source this. Why did I make an uppercase L? One last time. What is it on my... Oh, I shouldn't vim into my bash RC. Yeah, let me do this over here. It's my alias. Bash aliases. Yeah, I guess that... Oh, I probably just need to do this. Please work now. There we go, finally. And this needs to be an alias. There, now every time we log in, this will work. All right, I'm gonna make a directory called vLLM tests. Then I'm gonna go into that directory and we are gonna use UV. All right, so I'm looking up how to install UV, because what version Python do we have? All right, so do we have Python 3.12? All right, 3.11's on here. apt install npm. Weird. All right, let's try to install. This is how we install UV. Oh, then I need to add that to my bash RC or source my bash RC. UV. Okay. We're going to create a virtual environment with a specific version of Python. And up here, we're going to install Node the correct way. So this will be helpful because next time I load up this VM, everything will be ready to go. This is like a lot of the first startup stuff. All right, so installing prerequisites for Node. Installing curl, or installing Node 20. And then installing Node.js. And then let's see if I can run, oh, that's the same command. See if I can get Gemini running on, maybe it's because I need to exit out of here and re-SSH back in. What? All right, so we're going to continue on in this bottom half with this recipe step-by-step guide. Okay, so we need to create the VM. This one uses Docker, which I think Docker is installed, right? Docker version sudo docker ps. Yeah, so it has all this stuff running in Docker already. And up here, I'm just going to get this working. See if npx works here now. Let's cat this log. What is this log? Or it just vim into it. Or could not determine executable to run. Let's show this. And here, Okay, so apparently to create a VNV virtual environment with Python of a specific version, we just do it like this. And then we need the path to the specific version. So let's do 3.11. What is required for this? Python. Let's go back to this. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this with Docker anyways. Yeah, so let's actually just create a script in here. And it's silly that I'm creating all these scripts, but I do have a Docker Compose version of this that I've worked on, which we might be able to try. So let's set paste so I can paste this in here. All right, so sorry if this is hard to read. But what we're going to do is we're going to try this vLLM TPU latest version. We're going to run it called my username LLM. We did not set a model. All right, so let's just try running this. All right, so now what Docker is doing, it's downloading all the different requirements for this. So that's good to go for now. Let's leave that alone. And while that's downloading, get back to trying to get Gemini installed. What do you guys think? Someone said they love my pandas video. Nice. Bibbs said, nice to see you back. Nice to see you too. What did Na say? Is that use G-Cloud API access Google TPU? I turn off sound due to my wife sleeping nearby. Well, I appreciate you turning the volume down so your wife didn't wake up to me yelling about this. But yeah, we SSH'd into, so now we are in a VM with a TPU. So I don't think TPU info is installed. That would be a nice thing to install. But we would be able to see all the info about the TPU. So let's add that to our to-do list. But yeah, we're in it. You said, if that is so, as I remember, Google ADK framework provide MCP and cloud service within the package. Oh, I didn't know about that. And use the same container with Google CLI. I think can easy set up from it. Hey, send me a link to that if you're allowed to put links in here. What's my Twitch handle? It's Rob Codes Live, I think. Yeah, I've changed it over the years, but that's what it is currently. But if you have those details, so you're saying I could run it in a Docker container? That would be cool. For now, I'm going to try to get it working with these instructions. We're installing the Node 20 from source. So now Node JS 20 is there. And this is where we keep on getting stuck. Let's go to the Gemini CLI repo and read this. So this says to install a different way. Let's try this. Ooh, this is promising. Now it says, oh, you were wrong. Okay. No problem. All right, so I think the nice thing about this, we haven't even run. Okay, cool. This is nice. Logged in with Google. Oh, I don't even need to verify. Enter authorization code. Okay, so this is what I'm going to have to do over here. Access blocked. What? There's got to be different ways that I can load this. So I got Gemini CLI. When I try to verify, it says it's blocked. I'm going to ask what to do with this. And I'm going to give it this. And below, our vLLM Docker instance is extracting. So everything's been downloaded. Okay, so it's saying I need to go to Google AI Studio and do it that way. And just add my key. So I guess using this direct URL link doesn't work because I'm on a different machine than the one I'm trying to verify with. But if I go to Google AI Studio, get API keys in the bottom left corner, create API key. I'm going to name it Twitch TPU. Select a project. Need to create a project. Probably should show this. So I'm just here creating a project, and then it's going to generate a key, but I don't want to show that. Though I should just I'm going to have to show it eventually. Let's do this. Pull this over here. I'm going to export this key where no one can see it. I probably will just delete this key after the stream anyways, so you hooligans don't steal my keys. And let's remember how we do that. I export it as, it's called Gemini API key. And maybe I'll just put this in my bash RC so I don't have to type it in it anymore. Export Gemini API key. And I'm going to paste that there. So what I did is I made that a variable where we should now, it should be able to see that. Maybe what it does is it detects it. Oh yeah, and then I need to run this with the correct command, which is this. Come on. So now it's still trying to log in that way. When I run after adding the Gemini API key, it still tries to give me the URL. Let's try this. All right, so there might be some other commands I can run. MCP extensions, debug model prompt, YOLO. Screen reader. Whoa, is that new? Is there like a... Any tips, people? Any suggestions? So we're like stuck in this infinite loop where it's trying to use this and not my API key. I know I've done this before. Jeez Louise. Okay. While that's going on, we below here are now in an instance with... We are in a Docker image. So now we are on the VM that has a TPU in a Docker instance that has vLLM installed that has TPU support. That's a mouthful. Hopefully that all makes sense. I'm going to forget about this top part. I'll deal with Gemini next. But let's see if I can get this working. So we're going to need to set up this Hugging Face home directory where all of our model weights will be stored. So if I go over here and I go back into this instance in another tab, we didn't attach any storage. So if I do df-8, we can see our root directory only has 100 gigabytes. I say only has, but this will fill up pretty quickly, but we still have 63 gigs available to us. We could attach storage and try to do it that way, but for now we'll just try to get by as much as we can with like the base storage space that they give us when we load up. Then I'm going to use my Hugging Face token. I need to set this. Now this is important because to download some of these models like Llama, you have to click that you approve using them, or you approve of their terms and conditions in order to download it. So let's get I'm going to create a new token, which I'll delete after this, called Twitch. Copy this, and I'm going to export. It's got to be called HF token. This is my token. And now we're in the VM that has the correct thing installed. We're following these instructions. Are those instructions somewhere? Yeah, they're here. We exported our Hugging Face token. And now, how many chips do we have? This instance only, well, how do I get? I want to install TPU info. I think I can just pip install TPU info. And we can see we have 4 chips. Zoom out a little bit. We have 4 V6E chips. So when I run this command to start it up, we are only going to say we have 4 chips. And then this is to serve the 70 billion parameter model. And since we are running on only 4 chips, and because I don't want to take forever to run it, let's run for the 7B. So I think, or 8B, sorry. So I think there's a MetaLlama 8B instruct. I think it's just called, the same thing, but just instead of 70 here, we're going to put 8. Oh, of course, I got to go way over here. And what this should do is start to download the model. So it detected that we're on a TPU. We couldn't connect with Hugging Face. It doesn't have ping installed. So it doesn't have access to the internet. Why is that so? So this is something we're going to have to get through. Does the TPU instance have access? Leaked, Stormtrooper said. That's fine. Can we access the internet? Let's see if we can sudo apt install ping. So weird to not have ping on a operating system. Okay, so when I created this VM, did I add networking? I'm going to go to my console. Here, dashboard, see my VMs. Ooh, look, that's my CPU utilization. Hanging right around 100%. TPUs. Connect via SSH. External IP. Networking is default. See, this is where having Gemini would be, CLI would be super helpful. So now I would have to go back and forth between these other windows. Ping, use ping, it says, but ping isn't on it. Oh, it does. Oh, was that not working before? I thought it wasn't working before. Okay, we do have internet access. So this is some weird thing. So, oh, ping. We don't have ping from which within this Docker. Do we have curl? Yeah, let's try curl. What? So that worked. So it's something with my Hugging Face token, I think. Is this what I should call it? Hugging Face _ token? HF token. That's right. Maybe this needs quotes around it. Oh, maybe we need to log in. So maybe the Hugging Face library doesn't know we logged in, or doesn't know how to access this. So maybe using the HF command, auth, login. A token is already saved on your machine to log in. Let's try this again. So I'm gonna paste that token again. If I can get it. It's from up here. It's this. Paste that. Add token as get credentials. Sure, why not? Git config global. Restore. That is the token. Okay, so that says it's stored. And who am I should tell me who I am. Okay, so that worked. Let's try running this command again. vLLM serve. Maybe this URL that I'm trying to get to is wrong. No, this says it's right. I'm going to close this out. Any ideas, folks? Does he stream this time often? Yeah, I'm going to try to start streaming this time. Cubica, welcome. First time chatter. So I'm telling it that I know I have access, but this is the error that I'm getting. Let's see what we will get back. So let's ping. Of course, we don't have ping. We don't have NS lookup. Maybe try this way. Enter a token again. Paste that. I'm starting to think it's because I didn't have my token set up correctly. Interface. No. Let's also make sure I have this name, llama 3.1 8B instruct. All right, another idea. Let's try running the Quen model. I don't know. Get a smaller one working. The Quen ones I don't think require this strict of Hugging Face login, but I don't know. It's worth a try. So this is 7 billion parameter Quen model. And maybe we'll have more luck. Oh, you know what I think it might be? Did I accept the 8B model? I was talking all about that. I do think I actually linked to the wrong 8B model because I haven't accepted the requirement. Oh, I'm an idiot. But that makes sense now. All right, we've moved a little bit further. What do we have now? Just to summarize, we are running a Docker container on our VM that has a TPU. Four chips. We could see that now the first TPU is actually getting some use. And on this bottom half here is where we are in that Docker container. It downloaded all the weights from Hugging Face Hub. And now it's doing this pre-compile step, which is necessary for it to run faster, I believe. We can also go into, I think, the cache directory. No, so it's not in the cache directory because it's on the VM. But I was trying to see where the actual data is being stored. We know it's on the root directory, I believe. Or maybe it's just in this Docker image. So if I do sudo docker ps, we could see that here's the vLLM TPU latest Docker image that's running. We started it 23 minutes ago. Below here, we have the actual model loading up and pre-compiling. Once this is done, I believe we ran it with port forwarding, so we should be able to access it from outside the Docker container. Bandu says request access from the Hugging Face page. So I think what happened is this 3.1, I have been granted access to this model, but when I was running it before, I was running the instruct version. Which maybe I hadn't accepted. No, I have. So we can try Llama again after this. But for now, we have the Quen model loading up. So better have something than nothing, right? All right, pre-compiling is almost done. Now, the pre-compiling step, I believe, only has to happen once. Should we, while this is loading up, try to get the Gemini CLI running? Is there a way to force Gemini API to use the key instead of trying to give us the URL? Also, oh, did I say log in here? Is that why? No. Also, this is the correct command. Oh, so it's saying to add this into the .env file. All right, so we can do that later, but as we can see here down in the bottom half, it's done pre-compiling. Now the model is up and running. I think it's only running on one of the chips because this model is so small, it doesn't need to be sharded across the different chips. So we're kind of like underperforming what we need to. But you know, I'm used to underperforming, so this is perfect. So let's try to now access this this TPU or this model that's being hosted here by running this recipe. So we started up, we have the server started up and at that process. Now we can SSH in again, which we've already done. And this command will get us back into this container, but in a different window. So now we have both of these in Docker container that's running vLLM. Do we have the... I don't think we still need a Hugging Face token, but we might to download this. To download the... data set. Let's see if this works though. We're gonna go into the vLLM workspace folder. And then we're gonna run this benchmarking code, which we'll just throw in. So this is a vision and image model. But this vLLM bench serve will actually send data to the model and give some benchmarking stats. So I'm gonna SSH back into this instance in a different window. Interested to see if it actually uses any more than just this one TPU, and the answer is no. Did I mess this up by making a new window? All right, so now we can see here in the bottom, like all these chat completions are coming in, and that's because we're running this benchmark command, which is sending a bunch of requests to it, getting statistics about it. I think because I created a new window, it's like not showing the progress bar, but it should show when it's done, the final solution, final results. Okay, there it goes. Progress bar is running. We can also run just a command directly against this endpoint, maybe even while it's running this benchmark, which will kind of impact the benchmark stats, but that's fine. I want to... I think we just curl against the endpoint. So if we look at this quick start guide, we did this step running it with Docker. And the quick start shows us we can send, yeah, this is it. So on port 8000 is where this is running. I believe when we ran this curl command, or sorry, this setup script, serve command, we had Docker, we had jumped into the Docker image, and we're port forwarding port 8000. So now outside of the Docker image, we should be able to still access it. So I think if I ping localhost 8000, that's not going to work. But sending this curl, because we need to do, let's do this. Ping this. It's not happy. Okay, wait, so on the left side, here are our stats that are done running with our benchmarking. On the right side, I'm going to try to just, now that that's over, and maybe I should do this on the left side. I'm just going to run this curl command where we're just sending the request, and this is the wrong model name, so I need to change it to Quen model we're using. What's the name of this model? When we downloaded it, model. Here we go, Quen/Quen25 instruct. And we're getting a response. But this actually takes in This actually takes in images and stuff, so it's going to be hard to actually test it similar to how we did the other one. Let's actually see. Okay, so model we ran was this Qwen 25VL. It's a vision language model. So we're kind of not running just like single text commands against this doesn't make a ton of sense. But you can see that we can ping it. We can make requests and we should be able to get them back. So it's running here. And it's only running on a single chip, which is pretty impressive. We could have like downgraded the VM that I'm running on to much smaller size. Any questions, folks? We did it. I'm new to all this stuff. This is Pisto asking, I'm new to all this stuff. I was browsing Hugging Face earlier and I found the vLLM thing. Can you explain vLLM for me, please? Yeah, so vLLM is just an open source library created by some people out of Berkeley that is become like the de facto library that people use to serve language models and other models, really. And it handles a lot of stuff to make it really efficient. So fastest, easy use library for LLM inference and serving. It optimizes for throughput. This big, very important part of it is this paged attention, and the paged attention like handles serving these models when you have a bunch of different requests coming in from different users. And there's like ways to efficiently optimize how all the compute is being used on the back end to answer all those questions. And if it's not done in a smart way, then you're kind of leaving a lot of compute on the table. And that's where vLLM kind of beats these other ways of serving models and kind of became the de facto serving engine that a lot of people use. And like we talked about before, it's important for making your serving of models for chatbots and things like that faster, but also when you're doing things like reinforcement learning, where you need to have a model that you're constantly querying to then feed into a different model. All these speeds, improvements in speeds, makes that whole process faster and cheaper. Yeah, so that's why vLLM is kind of a big deal. And then what we're running is this TPU inference library. And what TPU inference is, it's a plugin for vLLM. And that plugin lets you run these same models, but on TPU chips, which are like TPUs are Google's hardware specific for doing computations like that are required for large language models. So with the release of this library, you can run some of these models much faster on TPUs than you would if you just try to use it out of the box and running PyTorch models. So what it actually does on the back end is uses these optimized kernels and also converts the models from PyTorch to JAX kind of in this seamless way. So it doesn't matter if you're using a JAX model or a PyTorch model, it'll just load it onto the TPU and let you serve it up very quickly. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's go back here. Now I'm back on my local machine. I want to create a clean, simple UI for querying a model being hosted with vLLM on port 8000. Someone said some laptops are now being chipped with a chip named NPU. Is it the same as TPU? No, so TPUs are like they're like only in data centers. They're very powerful. And I think some local chips are being, like Apple's silicon, they're making it better for doing on-device sort of machine learning stuff. But the real heavy computations are what TPUs are good at. It's similar to a GPU. So let's see what model. Remember what model we're running. It's this. This instruct model. And can you make a script for doing this? Make a quick HTML page for doing this. All right, so we're gonna see if Gemini can create just like a basic testing page that we can then run against this. What we'll also have to do is make sure that if I exit out of here, if we look at our SSHing in, we're also going to need to update this so G-Cloud does some port forwarding. Because if you remember, this is running on port 8000. And in order to access that from my local machine, all right, so this create a file, I'm going to have to port forward. All right, so this says to, all right, so this created this index HTML. All right, so this should be able to query against the model, but we haven't port forwarded yet. How do I update this SSH command so that I can port forward to access on my local machine? I'm going to exit out of here back to my local machine so that, all right, so there's this SSH flag apparently. Now if we vim into SSH TPU, it added this SSH flag. So let's see if this works. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, now I get this with your HTML page. And let's go back to here and see, oh, it says 404 not found. I think because whatever script it created isn't using the correct endpoint. Oh, and that's what it figured. There is no /generate. It's actually the v1 completion. So it's going to edit this HTML file. We need to refresh this. Maybe. All right, so we got a response. Now I get this response. And let's also, maybe if we go to the Quen 25VL vLLM page. Maybe give it this whole usage guide. This might help. Oops. Always hit enter too quickly. So we gave Gemini the full context of the usage guide and see if it can get there. Letting thoughts marinate. I did say test. Tell me I love it when it's nice outside. It's great meeting you at PyTorch conference. Thanks. Okay, so now we're getting, I think what we were getting before was just some weird text. So this is just the instruct model. So I think it's just going to like keep on spitting out stuff. Someone give me a funny thing to send a request with it. Also, maybe we can get it to... Also, can we see how to send an image to maybe? Because this is a vision model. What did it say? Yes, we definitely extend the UI to send images to Coin model because this is an image model too. An image file field, modify the JavaScript. And if we go to that quick start guide, does it not tell us like the endpoint? Let it make that change. Can the response also have an image? I'm not quite familiar with this model. All right, now I can refresh this, choose a file, send the query. It needs to be accessible via the port, which it isn't. It's a great question. This model can understand images. It doesn't generate images as an output. So let's just test that by picture of a dog. Save image. That's a WebP. Such cute puppies. That's just the puppy. Maybe we need a lower resolution one. Save image. JPEG. What type of dog is this? Shutterstock. Okay, so now we're gonna upload this Shutterstock image and say, what is in this image? Maybe? I've never done this before with this type of model, so our mileage may vary. Oh my goodness. This is pretty insane. The 8 billion parameter model is able to do this. Stormtrooper says, you said small image. It gave you images of small dogs. Oh, good point. So the image shows a small fluffy dog, likely a Pomeranian, running in a grassy field. The dog appears to be in motion with its front paws lifted off the ground, and it has happy expression. Jeez. Impressive model. So what is this page that we had created do? It basically just formats this same call that we were making before, like this curl command, where we're sending to this 8,000 port, this V1 completions. We're specifying the model as this Quen model that we have running. And we're sending a prompt, but we can also send images. So it just handles doing that. If I had this image, well, I do have this image locally, I could run this curl command and just do the same thing. But the UI just makes it a little bit easier. Let's see if I could. What was the... Yeah, let's see this one. This is, I just had Gemini create this right before. What's going on here? This is the image I had created for the thumbnail for the video right now. It's actually a horrible thumbnail, to be honest. Am I still streaming? Oh yeah, it's working. This image appears to be a promotional video for video graphic for a video tutorial. Dang. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by how good that model is out of the box. 8 billion parameter model, throw some images in, get a good summary. Yeah. So we did it. I would say the speed run is complete. We still have a few things I want to fix before next time. It's going to be a lot easier if I have Gemini CLI installed on the VM. So I can just troubleshoot there instead of having to flip back and forth. Also, I need to disable that hugging face key I just created, because you all saw it. And the llama model, I need to figure out why it wasn't downloading. My suspicion is that I was linking to the wrong model, that I did not actually click all the terms and conditions for on Hugging Face. So it was just sending a bad response when we try to pull it. Sweet. All right. I'm done now. Thanks anyone who's watching this. Gonna try to keep on streaming things like this. Mix it up every once in a while. But you could see we went end to end with the project. So thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you next